Let's get more from our correspondent, Bénédicte Paviot, who's in London for us. It's good to have you, Bénédicte. So this is the worst result for the Conservatives since its founding. Voters are really keen to send a clear message here to the Tories.
Yes, clearly one that they don't trust and want the Tories to rule the country anymore after 14 years of governance and various prime ministers, the last one being Mr. Sunak, of course, who's only going to be prime minister for the next hour or two. So an absolutely bruising night, not only because of the huge reduction in seats and MPs that will be in the lower house of Parliament, the House of Commons, where MPs therefore are elected, unlike the upper house. But you see huge political conservative beasts, senior ministers like the Defence Minister, Grant Shapps, losing his seat, like the former Prime Minister, briefly, Liz Truss, losing her seat. She had something like a 26,000 majority. Penny Mordaunt, the leader of the House of Commons, also losing her seat. Let's remember that Penny Mordaunt was one of the people who was up in the leadership contention with Liz Truss and Mr. Sunak. So really very bruising, huge reduction in seats, as I was saying. And it's really a question of lack of trust in this. And as James Cleverly, who has kept his seat, the outgoing Home Secretary, former Foreign Secretary, was saying, is that there are many lessons to be learnt from this. And, of course, we now await the arrival of, he will be Prime Minister by the time he comes here, Keir Starmer.
And Benedict, give us a sense of what the next steps are now in the UK.
Well, what's going to happen immediately is we're going to get Jeremy Hunt, the Finance Minister, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, who will be leaving in just a few minutes from number 11 Downing Street. Then we will have a statement, if weather permits. It's been absolutely bucketing down this morning, although we are the 5th of July. Mr. Sunak in the street, probably accompanied by his wife, making a short statement before going up to Buckingham Palace, seeing the King, King Charles, the head of state, of course, of the United Kingdom, tendering his resignation. And then moments later, we'll see Keir Starmer go directly to Buckingham Palace, go and see the King and be asked by the King to form a government. So he will then be Prime Minister. And of course, that is the privilege of the person and the leader that has the most MPs. And that very clearly, after this big victory of the Labour Party, is going to be Keir Starmer. And when Keir Starmer comes back into, well, not back, comes into Downing Street, he will be Prime Minister. He will make, we understand again, if weather permits, a short statement. One very much where I think he'll say, like he said in a victory speech this morning, that he's ready, that it's time for change, that's what the people have voted, and that they are there to serve the people, and that's what he wants to bring back in politics. But he faces many challenges inherited from his predecessor, and that is very much still a crisis in the cost of living, National Health Service that's really in crisis with huge waiting lists, problems with migrants certainly coming over from French across the sea, across the Channel, coming into the United Kingdom. Many thousand every year. And of course, trying to help people who, although they have jobs, can't meet their bills. This is where a lot of people in this country are hurting very much at the moment.
And give us a sense of what the key policies are that have been given by Labour here.
Well, they're talking, just as I was referring to, very much paying nurses and junior doctors properly. There's been an ongoing strike of junior doctors, for example, that has been going on for a very long time, which is adding to the problem of the waiting lists. Having more police, having more teachers, because the sense here is very much that Britain is broken. That is often what you hear, and why people have decided to change their vote and give their trust, certainly, and place the hope that they are placing in the ballot box and now in this new government, a new government where we will hear, we believe this afternoon, appointments from about 2 p.m. London time of the Defence Secretary, Home Secretary, Foreign Secretary, and the new Chancellor of the Exchequer. We believe, for example, that we know who the new finance minister will be, Rachel Reeves. But also, interestingly, don't expect a budget straight away. We already know they want to look at the books. And interestingly, I've heard this comment once or twice, and that is that David Cameron won the 2015 election because of what he did as soon as he arrived in power here in 2010. And that is, he said how the Labour Party had left no money in the coffers at all. So will this Labour government look at the books and say we've inherited a shocking legacy and we're going to have to be extremely cautious and we can't put as much money into certain, for example, public services that we would have liked. So a lot of unknowns. Will wait and, of course, analyse the speech that Keir Starmer gives when he arrives here, which will be very much setting his, for example, 100 days, first 100 days, which I understand he wants to be very ready, very active from the get-go.
Bénédicte Paviot, our correspondent in London, out there in the rain, thank you so much for your insight.